Shalom Chaverim, hello friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rabbi Stern, and I'm here to watch a game today. Jubilee is a channel here on YouTube that has many different games. This one is Odd Man Out. They say it's 6 Jewish people versus one secret non-Jewish person, and I guess they're going to try and figure out which one of them isn't Jewish. Might be fun, so thank you for joining me. Before we get started, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can keep up with what's going on my channel. Thanks, and let's get started. Let's get started.
What assumptions do you make when you meet a Jewish person? Are they based more on media, your parents, or just unreliable sources?
This is how I win.
As you play along this episode of Odd Man Out, think of how you pick them all.
I do kind of like that they start by mentioning that you might know Jewish people from media or depictions of Jewish people without knowing very many Jewish people at all. And so they're especially telling you, think about how you decide, because that could reveal some, not necessarily bad things, but just some biases that you might want to think about. I think it's something that we all have to do from time to time.
We brought together 7 Jewish people.
I'm Jewish.
I'm Jewish.
I'm Jewish. I am Jewish.
I'm Jewish.
I'm Jewish.
I'm Jewish.
One of them is a liar.
I already have no idea. If you think that because I'm a rabbi, I'm going to have insight into which of these people from looking at them is Jewish, I got news. You can't usually tell a Jewish person just from looks. It's not something that's extremely easy to do. We come in all different, not just shapes and sizes, but all different, backgrounds. And there are Persian Jews and Ashkenazi Jews and Sephardi Jews and Mizrahi Jews. And these things have a lot of overlap in certain areas. And certainly at the end, we're all Jewish. But that means that we look differently, sometimes based on where our people spent a lot of our diaspora. We call it galut, or exile, or diaspora, this, spreading out, because of all the time that we spent forcibly exiled from the land of Israel, which we have always prayed to return to.
If the group discovers who the liar is, they'll split a cash prize. If the liar survives, they win the entire prize. Who is the odd man out?
All right, well, who's the mole? I'm just going to ask you right now. Who is it? Come on.
Okay, where have all your families been expelled from? Can we just get into that real quick? Every Jew has a story about being forcibly taken from their home.
My family got expelled from Russia, early 1900s, moved to New York.
Are you Ashkenazi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus.
God, I can never remember the other one.
Sephardic.
I don't care. It's not
Oh,
big.
Yeah.
really? Interesting.
Okay. I actually converted. My mom is from the Philippines. My dad is from Mississippi.
Why did you convert?
Before he talks about why, conversion is something, there's a misconception sometimes that people have that Judaism is something that you have to be born into or that we're extremely exclusive. It's true that we don't proselytize. We don't go out saying, hey, would you like to become Jewish? But if people come to us and ask to become Jewish, we often remind them that Jewish people have had a tough time of it and, say, are you sure this is what you want to do? But once they are sure, we absolutely have a process of conversion that generally takes place of a year or more of living the Jewish life cycle, learning with rabbis and teachers and fellow classmates in a conversion class, and eventually with sitting before a Beit Din, a court, or, a group of learned Jewish individuals and clergy, to determine that you're ready to be Jewish, and then we take you to mikveh, which is where we do tevilah, or you dunk yourself in the mikveh, and we recite some blessings, and then we celebrate that you're Jewish now. So conversion is absolutely an option for people that are very interested, like Arrington says. Of course, it's a game, so I guess, who knows. But conversion is something that is a choice that people make to become Jewish.
My mom put me into it when I was really young, when I was like 6 or 7, so I just always grew up with it. So I didn't really feel like I converted.
My family is Polish. I am half Jewish, so my mom, through birth, I am Jewish. My dad is Christian.
My savta was expelled from Turkey, and my saba was from Bulgaria.
Good
And
words.
then-
Good words.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone here knows Hebrew.
Does anyone else know Hebrew?
Yeah. That means grandma and grandpa.
Do you know
fluently?
like
Okay,
my mom's
Gemini.
Israeli. So.
Okay,
Yeah, her name is Liel, and that's a common Israeli name. So, it's very. I thought maybe she had Israeli parents.
Do you guys know all the holidays?
Everyone was throwing out questions and answers, and it was just tough to get your.
Jewish? That's how they put it in the bottom. I guess they don't want to give it away. That makes sense.
Your piece in. But I was definitely worried that I would just be voted off just because I may not look Jewish.
What's like the highest holiday?
Yom Kippur.
High holidays. Yeah, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah. If someone said Hanukkah, I was like, done.
Anyone go to Jewish school? I went to Jewish preschool, elementary school, and high school and learned Hebrew in all of them.
Many Jewish kids will go to some level of Jewish school. The most common is a secondary school, a school, a supplementary school where you'll go on Sunday mornings, maybe during the week as well, outside of your regular school time to learn about Jewish culture and Jewish language, Hebrew, and to, learn and spend time with other Jewish kids. There are many immigrant communities that have sustained that kind of practice. There are kids who I went to a Jewish preschool, but did not continue in Jewish school, specifically Jewish K through 12 school. Many kids do. There are options in many larger Jewish communities and in bigger cities around the United States where you can choose to send your kids for comprehensive Jewish education that also has the option for, regular secular studies as well.
So I'm very Jewish.
Can you start reciting like the first prayer of Hanukkah? Like the first word?
Baruch atah Adonai. I mean, I know it's not first word, it just flows better this way.
Yeah, I was like, that wasn't really the first word, but.
He said his prayer really fast, and it didn't sound like 100% to me.
What's the prayer? Just like the 2 words for
You gotta look
like
for
washing
reasons,
your
I
hands
guess.
before you eat. No?
No, I don't know it.
Until after that.
Yeah. So I got you.
Quick question, because this will eliminate real Jews real quick. Does anyone know what Jewish penicillin is?
Matzo ball soup.
Matzo ball soup.
Ball soup, yeah.
Yep, there it is. She didn't know what it
Colloquially, I guess it is called, we do call matzo ball soup Jewish penicillin. I'm not sure it's any kind of shibboleth, but I guess they all got to throw something out.
It is right there.
It was a little unclear where he was from and why he was telling us like certain things.
Anyone keep kosher? I don't.
No.
But I don't eat pork.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, no
I'm
pork,
vegan,
but
so
no
like,
kosher.
my mom is so proud. She's like, my girl's
Can
kosher.
you eat challah?
I'm still stuck on the point that you drove here for this. I'm sorry. She said he drove here for this.
Oh.
I'm just.
I want an excuse to come down to LA.
Yes.
I like took a plane from Seattle.
You flew here?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I also just like wanted to eat at like a bunch of vegan places.
Were they recording just after Shabbat, and that's why they're all... you will find that in the United States, there's a wide variety of observance of various mitzvot or commandments from the Torah. Not performing any of the melachot or actions that you're forbidden from taking on Shabbat. That's what technically constitutes work that's forbidden on Shabbat. Driving a car falls under the umbrella of some of the, of those mitzvot, as do many other things. And it's interesting that they brought that up earlier. I heard the guy on screen mention when they said, what's a bracha or a blessing that you know? He said, netilat yadayim. That's, of course, for washing the hands. So, there's a lot of interesting Jewish content in here.
Right, we just want an excuse to come to LA.
I was very comfortable with the girls. For some reason, the guys gave me a bit of pause.
People always kind of had weird looks because I'm only half Jewish. So growing up, I was in a very Christian environment. I mean, that was the main thing is when we were, getting pulled out for the high holidays, everybody just kind of
might not
was
be
like,
helping
why
his
you get
case.
to leave, stuff like that. That's the only time it really came up for me.
Oh, they thought it was her. I thought it was the guy on the right. Maybe the guy third from the right. Yeah, guy third from the right gets my vote.
Alright. Okay, I'm gonna switch.
Bye.
I have a very Jewish name. I have a very Jewish face. Not something that I expected to be voted out the first time. I definitely was expecting to be able to keep playing the rest of the game.
Adam was my first pick, but I wanted to go here just to be sure.
Okay.
So tell me why you're Jewish.
Yeah.
It's harder because, you know, I am just Jewish through my mom, and there wasn't a big Jewish community where I grew up.
Actually, like Jewish through your mom, rabbinically is like full Jewish.
Through
No,
Jewish
that's what I
religion
mean.
makes you
That's what I
100%
said.
Jewish.
Like,
Just checking.
Rabbinically came up, so it's time for me to talk, obviously. In most branches of Judaism these days, it is the traditional standard of that if your mother and your mother's mother, 3 generations back is Jewish, then you are Jewish. If you are, even if your father is not Jewish. The Reform movement decided that we're going to do it a little bit differently. It's a little more egalitarian, which is something that's very important to the Reform movement. And the Reform movement said that if you have both 2 Jewish parents, obviously you're Jewish. If you have 1 Jewish parent, either mother or father, and you were raised Jewish, you observed the different signs of becoming Jewish. You have a bris or a brit milah, a circumcision ceremony for a boy, or a baby naming for a girl. If you go to religious school, if you become bar bat mitzvah in a synagogue, you go through confirmation, the graduation from a Reform religious school, then you would become, that would mark you as Jewish, even with 1 parent. If you didn't go through those things, you wouldn't be Jewish, even if the 1 parent you had was your mother. So there's a little bit of a difference there. I won't go into how all the movements determine who is a Jew. That's a big, big question that doesn't really fall into the purview of this particular video, but just wanted to mention that since somebody decided to volunteer what was and wasn't rabbinic.
Yes, no, of course. So I didn't grow up with a lot of Jewish community around me, so I didn't do a lot of like the stuff if people grew up in LA or New York or something like that, they might have had access to.
Where are you from again?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Western Massachusetts, yes. I didn't really have a religious upbringing at all, and then I did.
Did you go to camp?
college,
Nobody's asked about
at
camp.
Wesleyan.
Jewish camps are a huge part of the experience of being Jewish for your kids in the United States. So I just thought somebody would have mentioned camp.
And that is in Connecticut, and it does have a larger Jewish population. So that's really where I did get to meet a lot of Jewish people and really start to experience Jewish culture. Who said they didn't do birthright? Did everybody here do birthright?
I didn't do it.
Okay.
I'm planning on doing it this winter, though.
Yeah.
My schedule's crazy.
Yeah, I did it in college. That was like once I went to college, it was like a much bigger Jewish community, so like I got to do stuff like that and like go to birthright, and it was awesome.
I was most suspicious of Garrett because just some of his answers, they seemed like very quick and not very detailed. Have we all been to Israel?
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
So, what's our favorite part of Israel? I really loved, I think the Dead Sea was awesome. I think Israel is just gorgeous. And I was really afraid to go in the Mediterranean Sea because I did not want to get stung by a jellyfish. So I was like, okay, sand.
I'm a beach guy, so I love Tel Aviv and Dizengoff Beach.
Tel Aviv, great. He knows one of the beaches there. Dizengoff, he mentioned the name of a beach, so, there's that. My favorite place in Israel is Jerusalem, so I'm not on the show, but if they asked me, that's what I'd say. I always love being in Jerusalem.
What was your favorite part?
Masada, going up and like looking down over the Dead Sea and everything.
What's everyone's favorite dish that their mom makes?
My grandma's latkes, honestly, are like the best thing ever.
Your favorite food is latkes?
That's like a
Have
good
you ever
food.
had
Of course I've had latkes. No one's favorite food.
That's
Okay,
a
first
problem.
of
I don't know. Now I'm suspicious.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some more about your conversion?
I was just about to ask that too.
I grew up like as a kid, like going to Hebrew school, having Jewish friends, doing Shabbat every week, doing the holidays. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm Jewish now. It's just like, okay.
It's totally fine to convert, but just in the name of the game, I was like, okay, if you converted, maybe you're not actually Jewish. Maybe someone you know converted. Do you feel really in touch with Jewish culture?
So I have like a lot of Ashkenaz friends who don't buy German cars for that very reason. Like,
My grandparents
Or-
would let me buy
you're like,
get a German
yeah,
car.
the Holocaust is probably one of the worst events in history. So I don't.
The Holocaust, obviously, one of the worst atrocities in human history. It is something that for a very long time, many families, especially Jewish families that immigrated to the United States from Europe, wouldn't buy German-made products, cars, appliances, anything like that, because of a feeling of, obviously a dislike for Germany and not wanting to support it. That's really something that's faded away a lot, and it's not something you hear so much anymore. It's interesting to hear them talk about this, because I don't hear almost anybody. I don't know that many Jews with German cars, but it's something that I didn't think I'd hear from them.
For anyone to not connect with that would be a problem. But for me, I would say a lot of Jewish history I don't connect with just because it's not part of my history. It doesn't mean I don't connect to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did you face any discrimination being Filipino and Jewish?
All the time, absolutely.
What about people like finding us like kind of discriminating in like a semi-positive way, but not really at all? When they say,
Can you smell how much money I'm holding?
that's terrible. But no, I was in an Uber the other day, and the guy was like, "Oh, you're Jewish. You're powerful. You've got power. You've got connections." And I was like,
Yeah, you're just you.
Hi. He said his mom was Jewish, and if you're born from your mother and she's Jewish, that makes you a full Jew. So he just kind of seemed like the one to me from the get-go.
I kind of saw it was coming. I knew it was going to be a little bit harder. People who are Jewish are very, practicing in their culture, and to, have all the little details down and things like that is definitely hard for somebody who didn't, grow up practicing Judaism.
Raise your hand.
They're going to check now to see whether they think they got the mole. The two guys I think they got the mole, but that's me. We'll see what they think.
If you think that the mole is still in the box, I would like to continue the video.
After Garrett got voted out, I was kind of actually weary about Ariel. I want to hear more about because there are Israelis that aren't Jewish, and like that's cool too.
I was gonna ask that about you.
I know. Yeah. No, I'm definitely I was thinking about this whole time. I was like, oh my god. But are you practicing or?
No, so I went to Hebrew school. I went to the JCC. First grade, I switched to private school, Ivy Academia.
Can we speak right now?
Same thing, just because you speak Hebrew.
Yeah,
Jewish,
yeah, definitely. I was getting scared people were going to start voting for me because I was definitely putting out more Israeli than Jewish, and that is kind of my identity. I definitely fall into that more because I am a secular Jew.
I'm Black, Chinese, and Filipino, and for most places I go, first of all, people just don't even know what I am in general. Yeah. So add Jewish into mix, and that really throws people off.
You said you were born here?
Mm-hmm. Born and raised here.
In LA?
Yeah, but I went to school in a very conservative state. And now I'm back because it was really hard, and part of the reason it was so hard was because I am Jewish and I did not feel accepted. Yes, there were a lot of people who did accept me, but sometimes a little bit of hate can overrule a lot of love.
And you said you went from a Jewish high school?
Yeah, Jewish elementary school, Jewish preschool, Jewish high school.
She was just so outgoing and talking about her experience of going to an out-of-state school, and that wasn't Jewish. And since she went through a Jewish school her whole life, I think that was one of the big things that kind of went off in my head, that maybe it was her. How do you go from a Jewish school your whole life and not go to a Jewish college?
It's not uncommon to graduate from a Jewish high school and go to a regular, secular, or state or private college. It's not that unusual. I wouldn't have picked up on that. Maybe things are different in today's generation.
A dating app recently. There was a guy who sent me a photo of himself, bottoms on, but he was shirtless because he was really buff and he wanted to show it off. I didn't care. And he had a lot of tattoos, and I was looking at it, and he had a giant swastika right here. And I messaged him back. I said, "Am I being pranked?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Why do you have a swastika on your arm?" He said, "It's a Chinese peace symbol." And I said, oh honey, no,
not anymore.
no, not anymore.
My first day at Calabasas High, there were swastikas all over the school. Freshman year. My sophomore year, this kid came up to me. He's like, "I hate Jews. I am a full anti-Semite. I hate you and your people." And I'm like, dude, I don't know you. We're just in a class together. Why are you at this school if you hate Jews? Go move somewhere else.
And also, he doesn't even know you.
I've been told, you and your family should have died in the Holocaust. You and your people are evil. You don't deserve a place here. Things like that. And it hurts, but at the end of the day, I feel also like it made me stronger. That reminds me.
Jews in America have been extremely fortunate. That is not to say, and being Jewish in America is one of the greatest blessings of Jewish life that we've had for a very long time. That being said, there are many people who experience anti-Semitism on a regular basis here, even in America. And that's very sad, and it's very unfortunate that this young woman had to go through that.
How do you guys feel about tattoos?
Oh, I have a tattoo.
I've got a few.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I won't get any.
Yeah. Why? So
I think Israelis love
Exactly,
tattoos.
yeah.
Tel Aviv is the most tatted up place.
Yeah.
Jerusalem likes to hate it.
Sorry.
I'm surprised.
Ari, you just know so much.
I know so much. You know so much.
No, you know so much.
Okay.
Raise your hand if you're certain that the mole is still in the box and you would like to continue the view. If the lights turn green, vote the mole out. If the lights turn
Did they do it?
I'm feeling good.
Those lights turn red.
Okay.
We're the best.
I don't think it was Haley. I think they could have ended after the second round.
All right. Can the mole please step forward now?
Yeah.
Do it. Yes.
Okay, good.
I just live with somebody who is Jewish and have been in the culture now for like a year and a half.
Groupie, I call it. We're fun.
Yes.
Because he was sitting right next to me, he was really quiet, so I can tell when people were asking questions that he wasn't stepping in to answer them.
Yeah, so as the mole, I came in actually taking stories from people who
Jewish
are Jewish,
groupie.
and kind of co-opting them as my own because I do have a lot of Jewish friends, so I have experienced the culture through them. I'm just happy I made it past the first round. I was surprised that they voted Adam out really quick. It just shows that you can't tell who somebody is just by looking at them. You really have to get to know them a little better.
It's true. You can't tell how Jewish someone is just by looking at them.
I don't want to play into the stereotype.
Oh, I'm cool with it.
Doesn't want to play into the stereotype. I get it. It's a lot of pressure when you're publicly Jewish.
I'm a Jewish atheist, which if it came up, it might have been something that would have gotten me in trouble more so, but it's your culture, it's your everything, it's a big identity, and we need to hold on to it because if we don't, people will try to make us do it by force.
Within the Jewish community, there's probably more stereotypes than outside of the Jewish community. By that I mean, there's a lot of judgment within some of the communities, whether you're more Jewish than someone or less Jewish than someone. You came from Israel, you came from Russia.
Very true, Arrington.
The States.
I don't make it the full thing, but it's very much a part of me and my values and the way I live my life. And there are not that many Jews in the world, and so to be part of such a small but very close group is actually really rewarding in a lot of ways. And I'm very happy with being Jewish, and I love it.
Well said, Haley.
When did everybody become a Democrat?
Okay. Well, that's our video for today. Thank you for joining me. And again, please remember to like and subscribe and notify and all those things. And I hope you'll join me next time.